Hey everybody, today on Rahdo Runs Through, I am continuing my countdown of my top 100 games of all time, and hello, I am still on the road. I'm going to be for the next, 2 months, during which time I will be weekly giving you a new update. Today it's going to be numbers 90 to 81. There's some real bangers in here, and at this leg of the voyage, we are in Essen, Germany. Jen and I are staying at a marina, actually, that has repurposed its car park into mobile home parking. And it's a very popular space. We've been very happy here. You can see here we are set up. There's our car and there's our caravan right over there. We've been snug as bugs and rugs here. And actually, before I go on, I've got a question for everybody watching this. Do you care about this, or are you just here for the games? Because I've got 8 more chapters after here, and I could be doing all kinds of on the road interstitials between talking about the games, or I can just KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and only talk about the games. You got to let me know down in the comments. But today I'm definitely going to be doing more than just the games. I will be giving you a brief tour of life at Essen Spiel, and that starts with the cold hard reality of what to do with all the games we're picking up. Actually, somebody at the show, as I was walking around, who recognized me asked, "Hey Rahdo, I know you're getting tons of games and you're living in a tiny caravan. How are you getting them home?" Well, before we get to number 90, let me tell you something. Notice that thing right there on top of our car? Guess what's in there? Let me see. You can see I've already unlocked it. There's my keys. If I pop it open, boop. Hello, there we go. I don't know, there's 50 or 60 games in there of various and sundry sizes, and I'm gonna have a hard time shutting this now. That is a big part of it, and I'm out of room, as you can tell. I can squeeze a couple more little tiny card games or whatnot in there, but I really don't want to start encroaching on games in the car itself, because it's me and Jen living in this car, or in that caravan, and it's our 2 dogs as well, and the back is kind of their domain, so I don't want to gobble up that. So I've used up a lot of the space I've got available for me, but there's more I'm going to have to do on this trip as well. But before I talk about that, you've waited long enough, folks. Let's talk about number 90 on my all-time greats list. Oh, and I should say before I go to that, if you missed the first chapter of this, there's a link down in the show notes. I have created a playlist where I will be adding all 10 of these episodes. So at any given time, if you've missed one, you'll just be able to go to that playlist as they go up over the next couple of months leading up to Christmas. I think I'll be doing the last episode of this on Christmas Eve. Anyway though, number 90 is Funfair. And I gotta say, I'm super pleased that I'm talking about Funfair on the day that I am going to the most fun fair in the world, Essen Spiel, the great convention. This is a phenomenal card drafting engine building game. And there's a lot of interesting things about it. We are making, the best, carnival, roller coaster ride, theme parky type things. We're making theme parks in this game by drafting cards, running our engine, which is represented by all the cards we're doing. We're kind of focusing on different types of theme parks. Every time you play, the big deck of cards we're getting stuff from is a different combination of different themes of theme parks. And so you're going to get a different feel every time you play. But the cards and the theme, as much as I love all that, those are not the things that put this in my best games of all time category. When I originally talked about this, I said the name is perfect because this game is fun and it's fair. It's actually a sequel to another game I've never played called Unfair, which was the same basic theme, but Unfair was called that because it was a brutal, nasty game where players were constantly stealing from each other and destroying each other's stuff, and I swore I'd never played, even though everybody said it was so great, including Chris of the R&R show. He loves Unfair, but I would never touch it with a 10-foot pole. But the developers realized, hey, there's a market beyond people who just want to destroy each other. Maybe we should make a follow-up, and they made Funfair. And so they took out, it's completely stripped out all the nastiness, which is great, while keeping tons of replayability in it. But the things I really appreciate, the reason I call it's a fun game because of the card play, it's a fair game because they do some smart stuff. First of all, this game has an event system, which you see in a lot of games where, hey, every round, let's reveal the event and see what it is, and half the people around the table groan, ugh, I hate this is ruining me, and the other people say, oh, I don't care, that doesn't affect me at all. Event systems in competitive Euros are often hot garbage, and I hate them, and they can ruin a game experience because just total dumb luck can screw half the people around the table. Funfair does it brilliantly because they recognize, hey, let's make sure they are all positive, and no matter what situation you're in, they are all going to give you something that is useful for you, no matter what your strategy is, no matter what your situation is. One of the best, philosophical approaches to events in a competitive Euro I've ever seen. So that's a big part that I love. Also, the game has an objective system where, hey, if I get these objective cards, I better do them by the end of the game. They can be a source of points. And, this is one of the ones where you can grab more of them throughout the course of the game. If you feel like, oh, I've got the time, I've got the effort, I can spread out a little bit more. And, a lot of games do this, and they make a mistake that Funfair doesn't. Funfair says, you know what, but when we get to the final 20-25% of the game, that deck is closed. You can't take them anymore because there is nothing worse in Ticket to Ride than saying, oh, I'm working really hard and I'm just trying to get my tickets done, and somebody else says, oh, you know what, on my last turn, I'm just going to grab a couple of tickets. Why not? And they get some tickets and they're like, yes, this is perfect. They all work perfectly with everything I've done throughout the game. And boom, I just scored an extra 30 points. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll try that too. And I get a few tickets and oh, every single one of them is garbage. It's just dumb luck. None of them work for me. And it's just bad design. I never realized how bad this was. I mean, yeah, you could blame the player. It's the player's fault for taking that risk, but it still doesn't change the fact that it is an incredible introduction of swingy luck in a game that shouldn't have it to do that. So Funfair says, hey, you know what? We're not going to let you do that for the last act of the game. This is your last chance, 2/3 of the way, and then that deck is going to close down. These are just a couple of simple little approaches that I wish more publishers and more designers would pay attention to. Now, there's a lot more to this game. You can follow the links down in the show notes and go check out my run through or hear my final thoughts about it, where I go into a lot more detail because I'm trying to keep it quick. Most people said, hey, we want you to keep them quick. I already am taking too much time, so I'll be quick for the rest of this video. But all this stuff combined is what makes Funfair absolutely phenomenal. You can see it on screen. It looks good. Thanks, by the way, to James Woods for once again editing this video, as he's been going to be doing. He is a phenomenal talent. Check out his channel, That Board Game Show. But anyway, that's number 90, Funfair. Okay, I'm not done talking about storage, folks. Let's move on to number 89. But before I do that, let me just walk over here. I talked about how, the car is full, you can see. The caravan is full too. Here's Coasty, our little Coastline XL 386. We love this thing. We are absolutely, I'm not gonna go in there today, but, oh, I should have done this ahead of time. Oh, I gotta go get my keys. Oh, I can't get my keys. All right, I'm gonna have to pause for a second because I'm clearly not prepared. Oh, Rahdo. Okay, about to talk about number 89, but before then, as you can see, I've close myself back up. It was tough getting that thing closed and stuff. So I've got more games, folks. I've already filled up the car. Let me show you how I filled up the caravan. You notice this little side door right here, which requires 2 hands to open, and I had to unlock it, so I had to get my keys out and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take a peek in here. Oh my goodness. There's like another, 30 or 40 games stuffed all in here. This is underneath half of, our little dinette settee couch thing. Folks, if you would like a tour of our life on road, let me know down in the comments. I can give you a behind the scenes tour of this caravan in a future episode. I don't know if people want to. You have to tell me. Anyway, though, as you can see, I got a whole bunch more. I finally gotten my Aries Expedition stuff, which I've been wanting to grab for years, plus a bunch of really cool things. I am excited about Kokeshi. I'm excited about Raw Traders, although I don't have a copy of Raw, so I won't be able to play this until December when I get back home. But, those are problems for tomorrow, Rahdo. Today, Rahdo is here to tell you about number 89 on the list, Tapestry. Now, I love civilization building games. One of my favorite subject matters because I love grand sweeping scope of history. I love strong, smart Euro engine builders, and so many civilization games just scratch that itch so well. But often they don't work for me and Jen, some of the greatest of all time in this genre, because a big part of civilization is man's inhumanity to man and warfare, and it seems like civilization games always got to put that warfare in, which is bad news for a civilization-loving Care Bear like me. One of many things I love about Tapestry is the way it handles combat, because it's pretty innocuous. It's mostly just hey, if I move into your territory, you're not gonna be able to take that territory back from me. I've got it for the rest of the game. And it's going to be a little bit of points transfer, but there's ample time to be able to deal with it. But here's the deal. A lot of people don't dig the fact that Tapestry has a very, very good automated player system that was developed for the solo mode from Automa Factory, but it works brilliantly, beautifully to bring it into the two-player experience. And that's what Jen and I always do. Because since there is an automated player, I don't have to attack Jen. I don't have to screw with her stuff. Instead, I can attack the Automa players and have my cake and eat it too. Play a civilization game where I'm not having to kick down Jen's sandcastle. I'll kick down an automated sandcastle. Care Bear status achieved, making it, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest civilization games of all time. Not the greatest. There's going to be some more civilization building in future chapters of this series. But anyway, this is from Jamie Stegmaier, an amazing designer and just a wonderful all-around person. And is this my favorite? I think this might be my favorite Stegmaier game of all time. I think this might be your one time you see him on. And the reason is, I just mentioned one of the reasons. It's a genre I love that I normally can't play, but it works brilliantly here. But there's other things about it too. It's called Tapestry because one of the big elements of the game is these tapestry cards that you get to grab, I think 5 times over the course of the game. You start with one, you get a few more, and these cards Jamie Stegmaier loves, ever since Viticulture, a big old deck of cards with hugely powerful, swingy, wide variety of special powers. He's always dug it. And sometimes it works great, like here. Sometimes I'm not a fan of it, like Viticulture. But, the thing that's so smart about this game is while you only get a few chances to play Tapestry cards throughout the game, and again, they have such wide-reaching, hugely powerful things that can define your overall strategy and then redefine it over the course of the game. I love that. Sometimes, you get cards that just don't work very well for you or your overall strategy. This game, if you want to, can drown you in these tapestry cards so that you're sure to get stuff that'll always work for you. And then as the game goes on and you build your civilization to higher and higher and higher levels, you have opportunities to take those excess tapestry cards and turn them into other things. Again, a brilliant example that I wish more developers would take. Don't get me wrong. Luck is great. I love luck in a game, but I don't want a game to be decided by luck. And cards like this, like I would say in Viticulture, Jamie's greatest or most popular, no, Scythe is his most popular game, but his second most popular game of all time. Those cards can be so luck swinging and completely decide a game. They can't do that in here because he learned his lesson and made sure you can do other things with those tapestry cards. But the civilization is great too. Also, I love how fast and streamlined this game is. It's really a progress track game where you've got 4 different progress tracks. Every turn you're going to move forward on one of them to focus on developing technology or society. There's a cool little polyomino tile laying mini game off to the side that's very cool. And for people who have always complained that they don't like it because it feels like it's just tacked on, I think there are 3 expansions for this game, and they all improve the game greatly, including the one that makes that side game a much bigger element. Everything about this game is great. It's not the greatest civilization game of all time, but it is one of them, and it is number 89 on this list. And if you want to know more, I've covered everything there is for Tapestry. Either me or Amy and Maggie, who also love the game, have talked about it at great length. Links down in the show notes for number 89 on the list, Tapestry. Okay, what's next? Oh, it's so toasty and warm in here. Oh, it's so cold outside. Anyway, we are about to have breakfast and then take off for Essen. Don't worry, folks, we will get to the convention soon enough. But I've got a little bit of additional stuff to say about Life on the Convention, and it's what's on screen right now. This is my phone holding in my hand, looking at myself and looking at the Essen Spiel app, which I am so happy I downloaded. I just want to say this is a great little piece of software. It has made my life much better. It could definitely use a little bit of tweaks. Some of the features are great, but kind of well hidden. So I figured I'd just give you a quick tour here. Man, do I need to put in separate timestamps for these in-betweens and then the games? I don't know. Again, folks, you got to tell me, is it interesting to have this stuff or you just want the games? Anyway, so as you can see, this is the main page. There's a lot of stuff. Here's the important thing. Here is a list of all the games that I have flagged from the 1,500 or so games that I am interested at, or I'm interested in. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Is it? No, this is not. This is everything. Everything. Right. So I've gone through here and I've tagged everything I cared about. As if we come back over here and come down to, where is it? Which one is it? It's it's down here at the bottom. So this is the first thing. I always come here and I think, I've just got to look at these 9 options, right? No, down here below is the most important thing, favorites. I click that. And hey, my favorite exhibitors, if I've marked, if I've given a star to an exhibitor to remind myself I got to go do something with them, or a game I care about. And now if I click at this, here's the 138 games that I am seeking out. And if you can see over on the right, as I've been going, I am ticking them, like either because I'm going to get them, like I got Kokeshi, and I got 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or because, okay, I don't have enough room to pick up Perseverance Castaway Chronicles 2. So I ultimately made the tough choice and ticked it. There's just not enough room for everything, and that's a big box. So this is just a nice, handy reminder. But say I changed my mind, and gosh darn it, I'm going to find a way to fit Perseverance Castaway Chronicles episodes 3 and 4 somewhere in this caravan and sneak it on without my wife knowing, right? So I can click on this and it'll say, hey, I can know about the game. And this is really important. If I want, I can make notes. I've been using this notes thing a lot to keep track of, remember, right, they said to come back the next day. Who was I supposed to ask for? Just put a note here. Or is there something about it? Because, I've been putting notes on all kinds of stuff. But here's a fun thing. Start navigation. And it will say, okay, well, tell me where I am. And so, basically, I look and say, I look around and what's the closest thing to me? And, I'm by Alley Cat Games, right? So I could either type in Alley, A-L-L, or I could just scroll to find it, which I'm going to do because, all right, so this is, you would have expected, as soon as I typed in A-L-L, hey, get rid of all, there's no A-L-L in Adams. There's a bunch of little things that this app needs cleaning up. Like, as soon as I typed in A-L-L, limit it to just that stuff. Come on, that's just basic 101C. But anyway, so I say, I'm at Alley Cat Games, and it says, okay, well, that's where you are. That's where you want to go. Start navigation, and it'll give, this is a really simple one. They're both in the same hall, but it'll give me step-by-step instructions. Apparently, it's only 70 meters between these two. That was not a good example, but, anyway, I can step through it. That's really cool. I've used this several times when I've got to get someplace fast and I just don't want to figure out. I just use this thing, say, here's where I am, here's where I need to go, and it will lead me through 6 halls of the crazy maze of this place. This is an excellent feature that I really, really like. But again, I really love the note planning. Also, this will work. I've got my events. This will work with my own personal calendar. So I've got reminders to myself. I got to meet Christian Ostby today. He's going to show me a prototype. Maybe I'll get to show it to you folks later on in this list. Maybe not. We'll see. And then I'm meeting Board Game Ramblings at the Aporta booth. And then at 3 o'clock, I'm going to meet up with Jen to sell glass. So, and, so this will remind me. I can feel it buzzing in my pocket so I don't miss things. Paulo just gave me some feedback too. I don't know if you just saw that pop up. Let's just make that go away. But anyway, long story short. But here's my favorite thing. And again, this is really well hidden. You get this hall plan. You can say, here's my directions. It'll also say which way I'm facing. That's really handy too. But forget about that. I do not care about these directions. We can stop with that. This is another thing that took me forever to find. You see those little icons up there that are grayed out so you think they don't do anything? No, that just means they're turned off and you have to turn them on. Bad UI design to make me think these are dead buttons. But if I turn this on, boop, hey, here's everything I've yet to do. All those games and publishers I've still got starred that I need to go find. You can see, look, I've already cleared out, almost completely cleared out halls 5, 6, and 7, but I still got a lot to do in hall 4 and hall 3 and hall 2. So if I come back over here to hall 3, hey, here's all the places I've yet to go. And so this is a really easy way. I got to get back up to Paraloco Games. I think I even put a note for them because I hit, tell me Paraloco, and the note is, yes, they told me when I went there yesterday to pick up, Penguin Kaboom. I really wanted to pick up a copy of Satori, and they said, oh, I don't know if we could hand those out. But then I got an email from them last night saying yes. So I put a note to myself to swing back over there to get a copy of Satori today. So when I get there, I'll remember, right, what was I even over here for? I took notes. It will give me directions to that. Once I've done this, I will be able to just tick this square right here. You can see I've got a note. I could tick this to say it's done, and then it'll go off my list. It'll just disappear. It's a great little app. Again, there are some usability issues that I'm trying to muscle my way through, and I figured I'd just do this as an introduction in case other people run into the same problems or don't realize all the... Oh, here's a fun thing too. It will do a 3D thing, so you can, it's kind of more like a Google Maps. Unfortunately, you're inside, so it can't do proper GPS, but still, it's the next best thing, and it's been a lifesaver. And, right. Enough of that. Let me go on ahead and zoom my picture in bigger so that I can talk about the next game on my list, which was number, what was it? Oh, 88, Praga Caput Regni. Now, this is the second time you have heard a game from Vladimir Sushi, who I believe they're friends in real life. I think they co-starred CGE together. Is that true? I might be telling tales. But anyway, Vladimir Suchi, it's his second time on the list. It's not his last. There's going to be another game I like even more than Praga Caput Regni. But I would say this is probably my wife Jen's favorite. There she is right there. Oh, she didn't. I promised I wouldn't show her, but she's right there. Here's the dogs, by the way. Oh, they're so cute. They've just had a nice breakfast, but they want some of my breakfast, which I can smell is delicious. Sorry, getting distracted. This is not a Rahdo ramble. Anyway, though, Praga Caput Regni is fantastic. It's one of Vladimir Suchi's greatest designs ever. We are building up the, I guess probably 1800s Prague, maybe 1700s. I don't remember the exact time frame, but the action selection system in this thing is just brilliant. There are all these little domino tiles that give you one of two different actions are on this kind of spinning wheel, and the longer they spin, the longer they don't get chosen, they eventually move out of a zone that says, oh, you have to pay to grab this tile, into a zone where it says, oh, this tile is free, into a zone, if nobody ever uses it, where the game actually pays you to take them. And the brilliant thing is, it's an entwined drafting thing, because wherever those tiles are, not only does it say how much they cost to use, as this dial is constantly spinning, but wherever it is, it's associated with an additional action. So whenever you grab one of these, you get an action off of them, plus an action off the wheel itself. And combining those actions at the right time is everything in this game. And, that's the crux of the game, but it's a wonderful thing where you can focus on, building up the buildings or building up the roads or the bridges. There's like cool little historical things about the eggs of Prague. Google it if you've never heard about it. Fascinating stuff. But this, what do you call it? Spinning wheel. It's not really a rondelle, but this is one of the coolest action selection systems I've ever seen in any game. It's not Vladimir's best, but it's one of, and hey, it's one of the 100 greatest games of all time, folks. If you want, you'll follow the links down in the show notes. What we're showing here is back, man, you remember when we used to be able to do live streams of big, heavy games? We did that. I don't know how we pulled it off, but you can see Jen cleaning my clock on a 2-hour live stream we did of this game, while me still explaining the game as I go and all of that. I look at that and say, oh, I was a younger man. I don't know how I did it. But anyway, folks, there's a link for that down in the show notes if you'd like to see it. But that's all I got to say for now, because I'm spending too much time talking. That is number 88, Praga Caput Regni. All right, I promised. Next entry, we will be at the Messe Essen Convention Hall. Okay, I cheated. I'm not inside yet, but I'm outside. There it is. Right over there. That's where I'm walking. And you know what? I don't think there's much really interesting to say about parking lot P1, so no interstitial, but I'll talk some more when we get inside. But for now, I've got a few minutes to tell you about number 87 on the list, Evenfall. No, not Evenflow. There's nothing about butterflies here. This is a game where we are a coven of witches playing cards to gain influence and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a fantastical world. Oh, these glasses are fogging up quick with all this rain. And it is a brilliant, brilliant worker placement, tableau building, engine building card game that does so many things right. It's amazing this was from a first-time designer. I was blown away from the very beginning. I've now got the expansion for it. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. This might actually move up a few steps if the expansion improves on it much. But anyway, yeah. It's one of those, hey, get your cards played so you can harvest resources from them so you can play more stuff. You know, the more cards you get, they synergize with each other. You create all kinds of combos. Every time you play, you get a different combination of cards. You know, all that kind of stuff. So, it's got a great look. What makes it special? There's a lot of games like that. Why is it number 87? There's a couple of things. Like I said, it's got a cross of worker placement. You have these workers, you know, your Coven of Witches. You have regular or novice witches and elder witches. And when you play cards, you put them up in the top of your play area. And while they're up there, you can activate them to harvest resources to do more stuff. One of the most important things you're trying to do in this game, though, is upgrade the cards by moving them into your inner circle down below. And then that means they become worker placement spots that you can put your workers on and get much bigger rewards. But that means you can no longer harvest from them. And so that's a really cool tension between knowing when to keep them in one zone before you transmogrify them into something completely different. And that's something I'm always finding myself enjoying in games where, okay, I've got this thing, it's really great, I use it a lot, but someday I have to sacrifice it, I have to turn it into something else, whether it's victory points or in this game, turn them into worker placement spots so I could do other actions. So that's one big thing that I love about this game. The other one is there's a whole nother side game, and this really surprised me. It's kind of a blind bidding auction mini side game that gets resolved at the end of every 3 rounds. And this is a quick game. I think we only play like 16 or 18 turns, something like that. But anyway, at the end of every round, we're going to resolve these areas for more bonuses and whatnot, and we do it through a simultaneous bid of our resources. I hate blind bidding, so does Jen, but we like it here because while we are blind bidding for getting majority to get you know, points and whatnot, more importantly, we're going to these areas to get other resources that we need. Whether we win or lose is almost immaterial. That's just a little side thing, and that makes the blind bidding very, very enticing because I hate blind bidding because I never know if I'm bidding the right amount. I never know if I'm overpaying. But here I know I'm always going to get something. I'm never wasting my time or my resources. And so that's something that more blind bidding auction games could learn from. That combination of stuff, plus the really great look, plus I can't stress enough how great the combo gameplay is here, is what puts it at number 87. Evenfall. And now I've got to turn this phone off so I can get out my ticket so they will let me in, and then finally, folks, I'll be on the floor. All right, hold on. Okay, folks, I'm in. I am here. It's everything you would hope. Look at it. It's ginormous. It's Saturday. Wow, it's a lot busier than it was Friday. And okay, before I go any farther, folks, do not turn off this video yet. Please, just give me a second to explain this, because I know there's some of you who are going to be very unhappy to see me wearing a mask. But let me tell you a story. I love telling stories. In 2023, I was at the Dice Tower West convention library, or the Dice Tower West convention in Vegas, and I was hanging out with my good buddy Ruel Gaviola and Shay Parker, 2 contributors to the channel. You've seen them on several videos, I'm sure. We were playing games. We were having a great time. Now, after the show, I got COVID, and I know I picked it up at the show, and it was the frickin' worst. I'm well vaccinated, I'm healthy, that was not a problem, but still, it laid me out for 2 or 3 days, and it knocked out Jen as well. And here's the deal, Ruel got hit by it also. Ruel also came out of there with COVID. Shay, who we all played games together for like at least a couple hours, he wore a mask the entire time at the show. He did not get COVID, even though Ruel and I did. And for me, that was proof positive that it's just common sense. If you're going to come to something like this, remember, Essen Spiel has gamers from around the world. COVID has not gone away. Yeah, and you know, unless you're immunocompromised or elderly, it's probably not going to kill you. But let me tell you, there is a 50-50 chance. It's like a coin flip. Either you're like me and Ruel, and if this thing gets you, it'll put you out for a couple of days. Or, for some people, it's just like the cold. I never want to feel like I did again. And it was proof positive Me and Ruel got it. Shay did not. We all hung out together. That was the only time we hung out together, and I'm not going to let that happen again. I mean, think of it this way. We're all gamers, right? Studies show that in an enclosed mass event like this, there is a 1 in 20 chance that you're going to pick up COVID at something like this, especially here in Germany, where COVID levels are definitely on the rise. You're going to roll that D20, and you might get a 1, and then you got to flip a coin. And if you get tails like I did, you will be miserable. On the other hand, if I put this mask on, statistically, I go from rolling a D20 to rolling a D100. And I like those odds a lot better to avoid it. So, I'm not here to make a statement like I've done in the past. I'm not trying to shame anybody. I don't blame anybody around me. I look around and I see maybe 1 in 50 people wearing a mask here. And, hey, maybe they're not bothered. Maybe they're the type of person, for them, it's only a minor cold. For me, it's not. I'm not going to let that happen again. And I don't mind. It's, I kind of like having a level of anonymity as I walk around, because that means I can talk to you folks and not have to stop constantly and say, hi, thanks for watching the show and all that. So there's a definite side benefit for me wearing this thing, but it's just something to consider. And, and again, I know some of my viewers are going to see me, oh, Rahdo, there he goes again, putting on his SJW hat. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with anything other than just simple math. It's just probabilities. COVID is still here. It's going to be with us for the rest of time. And if you're not bothered, that's great. But I am not going to get knocked on my ass again like I was in 2023. If you ever run into Rel Gaviola, ask him about it. It hit him for a week. It only hit me and Jen for a couple of days. And so, yeah, it's a minor inconvenience to put on an N95 and know that I have almost eliminated any chance of this happening to me. So anyway, with that out of the way, we will continue on with, where were we? Number 86. Man, I love me some Merchants of the Dark Road. And I feel kind of bad about this because, oh man, there was such an amazing expansion that came out for Merchants of the Dark Road, but unfortunately the publisher has closed up shop. I don't know if that expansion will ever come out. So anyway, this ranking is Merchants of the Dark Road with just the base game without the expansion, which I have played. It would rise quite a bit with that expansion, but even without the expansion, Merchants is one of my top 100 games of all time. What hall am I in? I'm in 5. I'm trying to go to 4. I'm in 5 right now. We're going to keep on walking. Why is this so great? Well, first of all, let me just say, of all 100 games I'm going to talk about on this multi-stage list, this one has probably the nicest components. This probably has maybe the nicest components of any game I own, period. The art from Andrew Bosley is amazing. The pieces, the production, everything about this game is absolutely gorgeous to the eye and to the fingers, just to the touch. I love it. But that's not what puts it on the list. This is a wonderful fusion of different mechanisms that I love. Really, the main thing is it's a rondel, because you spend half your game on this city rondel board. You're going clockwise around, trying to get the right resources and quests and followers and all kinds of stuff at these different spots. And every rondel space gives you access to multiple different resources that you can collect. So when you land, first of all, is where am I going to land? And then what am I going to get when I land there? And then also, by the way, it's pretty warm. I don't need these anymore. I was thinking, wow, it's hot. It's because these keep my head warm. Anyway, but then there's also bonus extra things you can get, but you can only do those a few times. So you got to know when to grab those bonuses you can get off the different spots. But eventually you're going to go round and around doing great rondel stuff, which I love, to try to get the right combination of things to then go on the dark road. We are merchants. We get stuff in the big city, and then we make a caravan and we go out to the dark road, to all kinds of villages on the other side of the board. And now here's the thing. What people can see when I'm collecting things that maybe says, oh, he wants to go to, I don't remember the names of the towns, Darkmoor or something like that. Evergreen, right? He wants to go to Evergreen, right? Because I can see he's got a passenger who wants to go there, and he's got the resources they want. He's probably going to Evergreen. if you see me doing that, what you want to do is start getting ready to go to Evergreen, so that you can catch a ride on my caravan. And on my turn, you can get a big payday, because delivering this stuff out to the different towns is where you get the big points. It's the whole point of the game, being a merchant on the dark road. So if I'm the one doing all the effort and spending all my time to get it going, and then you can catch a ride with me for free, it's worth it. So I love that as an example of players with a kind of more positive interaction where, oh, hey, we're all in this together. Now, it is a dark road. Once we get going, we are going to, every time you play, there's a really fun kind of narrative drama element to it too, because we're going to draw a card and we're going to run into bandits, or we're going to meet a royal caravan on the road, any number of things. And as the leader, if I started it, I get first dibs on the good or the bad, but then you have to deal with it as well. So we all get kind of tied up in these different little mini objectives as we go. But then, after that, we ultimately get where we're going, we make our deliveries, we score our big paydays, and then, next turn, we're back on the rondel collecting stuff. And again, the components are great. The gameplay is great. The expansion is even greater. But again, we won't focus on that because it literally might never see the light of day. But everything about this game is absolutely phenomenal. I would never want to part with it. And so that is why number 86 is Merchants of the Dark Road. Oh, hell, I'm being filmed. My disguise doesn't work very well if people can hear me talking really loud. But anyway, I've made it to Mojito Studios. I have to go meet these people because they've got some games I want to get to cover for you. But anyway, we'll get to, what's next? 85 in a minute. All right. Okay, folks, right over there, Underwater Cities, Ir New Era. I was just talking to Vladimir Sushi and his wife and their fellows. And, just total coincidence. But hey, it's a small world. I've now got Underwater Eras in my handy-dandy IKEA bag. Best bag to have at a show like this is an IKEA. I've actually got two of them. They definitely keep me going. And Vladimir said to say hi, although he hardly speaks any English at all. So his wife said to say hi to everybody. You have not heard the last of Sushi and Co. But anyway, we are now moving on to, oh boy. Oh, we're coming out to the food court of Essen Spiel. Before I move on, let's just go on ahead and give you a quick look. What time is it? It's after lunch, but look at this. Look at this. It's crazy. All these food trucks, all this hundreds of people. And I've got to make it through all of this to get over to Hall 3 because I've got an appointment, I think I mentioned earlier, with Christian Osby to look at a prototype. And yeah, I would not make it through here. Although actually, because I'm talking so much, there's definitely been a few people who have overheard me. Even my voice is very recognizable. But anyway, enough about that. Let's see, what is the next one? The next game is I've got a little app on my phone, but my eyes are, yeah, these are part of the disguise too. Okay, I can read it more clearly now. These are for distance vision, don't help me with the close-up vision. Number 85. Number 85 on the list is Race to Mars. And I just got to apologize right now to even put this on the list because there's very little chance you can get your hands on this game. And that is a real crying shame. It had a very, very small, it's the epitome of the independent developer. Just a guy with a dream without a crowdfunding count. Or no, did it crowdfund? I think it did originally crowdfund. I missed it from that. But there's only like, I don't know, 500, 1,000, maybe 2,000 copies of it in the world. And so it's all, unless you're in Norway and can go to a local game store that maybe has a copy or two of it, it's all but impossible for you to get your hands on it. And that is a crying shame because this is the greatest race-themed, racing board game the entire industry has, period. I've talked about it. I've never done a full run-through. What you're seeing on screen that James has put on is a video of me and my wife playing it in our monthly Rest and Relax. That's so every month as a reward for backers of the show, Jen and I play a game all the way through from start to finish. And we did it for Race to Mars, not really expecting much, thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be fine. I had no idea it was going to be in my top 100 games of all time, but it totally is, because there's basically two halves to this game. First of all, I guess you'd call it a deck builder, where you don't actually have a deck at the beginning. For the first half of the game, we are prepping for our launch to Mars, right? Which means we're drafting cards, adding them to our deck, either adding them to our deck, which means they're coming in as crew, or adding them to our rocket, which means they are giving us more rocket powers, boosters, and stuff like that. Or any cards that don't get taken in every round of the draft, those cards get put aside and become the racetrack, the celestial pathway to Mars that we are having to navigate. And so every card you don't choose is going to be creating an obstacle for you later that you have to be able to navigate. So of course you're picking cards with that in mind. You're trying to get the right crew to deal with those cards that don't get picked, or you're trying to get the right upgrades for your rocket. Now, this goes on for several rounds. Players just taking turns drafting cards. Some of them get left behind, building up their crew, building up their rocket, and sooner or later, a player is going to say, I'm ready to go. I'm taking off. And from that point on, for the rest of the game, it's a race game for them. They've got a deck of cards. This is the deck building. It represents their crew. They're going to draw a certain of them, play them, and try to move along this track and get to Mars first. Whoever gets to Mars first wins. Other players might not take off right away. They might stay and spend more time preparing. So they get a better crew. And we have definitely had games like this where I'm over half of the way to Mars. I'm totally going to make it. But Jen just stayed home and just kept preparing and preparing and preparing. And because then she has such a better crew than me, such a better rocket, she can zip forward and overtake me and make it to Mars before I do. It's so cool, it's so dramatic, it's so simple, it's so elegant. And it's such a freaking shame that no board game publisher out there has contacted this little independent developer to say, hey, we want to open this up to a broader market, because everybody should get a chance to play this game. It's absolutely phenomenal. It is. And again, all I can do is apologize. I will keep evangelizing it until somebody in the industry gets wise to it, and it can make it out into wider distribution. But for now, you'll just have to take my word for it on number 85 of the greatest games of all time, Race to Mars. Okay, and this is a big crowd. Hall 3 is the toughest one by far, and I know I've got to get somewhere over in that direction, so I've got to pull out the app and have it direct me where I need to go. And I'll catch you on whatever's coming next. I have no idea. I'm flying blind. Okay, we are moving on to number 84, which, I'm excited to talk about this, but what I really want to talk about is what just happened in that room back there. I just hung out with Christian Ostby for about a half an hour hearing and giving feedback on a prototype for a game that there may be going to be crowdfunding next year. And I can't say anything as much as I want to. And normally I don't get any kinds of insider stuff like this, but it's going to be very exciting next year. And it's too early to say if what they just pitched to me will make although it could, because they liked every one of my ideas. A lot of the stuff I was just talking about with you folks today, I mentioned in that room with them, and they said, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, and it prompted them to have ideas. I love being a designer. I was a video game designer for 20 years, so it's great to talk design. I love it to pieces. But anyway, enough of all of that. We're talking now about number 84 on the list, Agricola. A total GOAT, greatest of all time, deservedly for the longest time, was in my top 10 games, period, with good reason. One of the first games that my wife Jen and I discovered when we became hardcore board game geeks. And to this day, well, here's the interesting thing. I was about to say one of the greatest worker placement games of all time. No, it's not. It is a barely average worker placement game. It's fine. In fact, people have often been upset with me that I never put Agricola in my top 10 worker placement game videos that I've done several lists over the years, because I think it's just only so-so as a worker placement game. And worker placement is nothing special. What's special about that game is the cards. That the first thing you do is you get whatever it is, depending on how you do the draft, anywhere from 14 to 21 cards, and you whittle it down till you have your starting hand of occupations and improvements. And you're only going to play a fraction of those cards, but knowing what they are from the very beginning, before the game starts, means you have a very strategic game where you know what your early game, your mid game, and your late game is supposed to be, and then you just see if you can make it work within the confines of worker placement. That is what has always made it absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, there's so much expansion content for it and more coming in the future. And that's all awesome. But still, at the end of the day, the worker placement is occasionally, some of the expansions have made it interesting where, oh, I want to place a worker adjacent to another one. There's been a few little tricks like that here and there. But, it's really that hand of cards. It's the ultimate strategic Euro because you have to plan out an entire multi-hour session before you ever place your first worker on the board, and that's truly what makes it special. And that's why it is. Oh, by the way, you're running a medieval farm, growing crops, animals with tons of variety with all those cards, and I still love it to pieces. But actually, I think people are going to be surprised about what's next on my list, number 83, which I don't know. Maybe I'll get this guy to talk about a little bit right over there. All right, hang on, folks. Let me see if I can get him on camera for a second. He's very sneaky as a magician. Okay, folks, for my number 83, we have very special guest co-hosts today. It's Sunniva and Johannes from Board Game Ramblings. You may or may not have heard me say at various times that they are one of my favorite, if not my favorite, board game media channel. I think they're awesome. I don't know if it's because he's actually a professional practicing magician, but that's got to help. And it's perfect that they are here to talk right now because my number 83, is a Feast for Odin. Yes, folks, I put a Feast for Odin above Agricola, which I know makes no sense at all. Especially since I got rid of Feast for Odin when I originally had it because I kind of hated it. And Agricola has been in my top 10 forever. But before I explain myself, I believe Feast for Odin is Johannes' number 1 game of all time. So, I think they're great. I think you should go check out their channel. There will be a link for them down in the show notes around and hey, here's my mic. Give me a breather. I've been shouting for nonstop for I don't know how many hours. Tell us about Feast for Odin and why is it better than Agricola?
Feast for Odin is...
let's keep walking.
We're walking. Worker placement, all the worker placement spots. You have like 84 worker placement spots. You start with negative 80 points, which is great.
Yes.
All those negative points are just trying to cave your way up to 0 points. If you get positive points the first time you play, you're going to be so happy. And then you will smile or you will hate the game. That's the other option. And for me, it's just the plethora of options and the feeling it gives me because I love spatial puzzles. And it has spatial puzzle because there's tiles. You can upgrade the tiles. You place them over the negative points, so it feels good. And you
Let's
also
go this way.
Play, we go this way, all the ways. And yeah, it's just pure fun. I love playing it. I would play it every day, but we can't because we play all the other games.
Yes,
but for me, why it's better than Agricola is because I never liked Agricola. I never enjoyed it that much. So
Can you explain that?
My first experience with Agricola was 1:30 in the middle of the night. I was asleep. And I played with the best player in Norway, so he basically just told me what to do. I understood nothing, and that's probably why. Why do you like Feast for Odin?
I like Feast for Odin. I think it's in my top 50, maybe, so not as much as you, but
Which is wrong.
But I like all the action spaces and like the decision if I'm going to do these really powerful actions with 4 workers or if I'm going to do small actions with fewer workers. That's cool.
Yeah. Give me that.
That's it. That's for you.
That's weird. None of that is why I like Feast for Odin. Johannes briefly mentioned it. It's the polyomino tiles.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Uwe Rosenberg just cannot stop obsessing about polyomino tiles. Ever since Patchwork, and even this year, he's just put out Garden Lake, another great what are those? Those are all 7-piece polyomino pieces. It's insane. The man loves them. But that's what makes me excited about coming back. In a way that Agricola is much more staid and straightforward, and the excitement of Agricola comes from the combination of cards. But that's a cerebral excitement. Yeah, I love Clemens Franz art, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't get things fired up as much as a really fun jigsaw puzzle.
That's true.
Now, here's why I originally thought Feast for Odin was a piece of garbage. And you can tell me if I was crazy. First of all, I have no interest in playing the long game of Feast for Odin. It's way too freaking long, but it's brilliant that it has a fast mode where you play, like 1 or 2, I forget the specifics, but you play it in like 2/3 of the time. Here's the deal. The thing that I don't like about Feast for Odin is every round, I think, you could tell me, you get those weapon cards, you just draw them randomly.
Oh, yeah.
That's garbage. That's hot garbage.
Yes. 100%.
Yes, because you can spend your whole game being all about this and trying to get a harpoon, and you'll just never get one. And I don't want to say you'll lose because of that, but in the short game, it will hurt you. In the long game, it all evens out.
Yes.
But in the short game, you can get royally boned. So I got rid of the game until, you'd be interested, they're Norwegian. The Norwegian expansion came out because, there was new tiles and new cars, whatever, a bunch of cool stuff. But the brilliant thing the Norwegian expansion does is it gives you an alternate use for those weapons. So you're still drawing the weapons randomly, but if you don't get what you want, you can pivot. You can still find good uses for them. And I think the same thing was true for occupations, I think, had a similar thing as well. That there could be some randomness for like, I got an occupation and this doesn't help me. I have never built a boat. This is a waste of time. I just wasted one of my precious resources in the game to get this. Now you can say, this occupation is crap. I'll just convert it to points. And you're almost in a race to throw those occupation cards away. So, if it weren't for the Norwegian's expansion, which I blame these people for because they're Norwegian, this would not be on my list. As much as I love everything, the stuff the worker placement is crazy. I just spent a lot of time talking about how there's nothing special about the worker placement in Agricola. That is not the case. Just because it's a special thing to parse that huge Excel sheet of a board to figure out what you're doing. But the Norwegian expansion allowed the rest of it smoothed out those random elements so that we can have a really great time playing it fast, which is how Jen and I want to play it. Because then that makes it even better because there's no fast mode for Agricola. Well, that's not true. There is. There's the family mode. Does anybody play the family mode? Does anybody want to play that? No, I want to play the full version, but I want to play it in 2/3 the time, and Feast for Odin does that. So, that is why, I'm sure you two agree, that Feast for Odin, as much as it hurts me to say it, is better than Agricola at this point, but only with the Norwegian expansion. And that was our number 83 on the list. And now I'm going to turn all this off because we've got to move it, because I've got a date. All right, more soon. Okay, folks, it's the next day. It's the last day, Sunday. Maybe a little bit quieter than yesterday. I thought I'd have more time and get it all done. But I've got one more day to pick up more stuff. Just swung by Pegasus, got Boss Fighters VR and the new Dwarf Romantic. I am now hoping I can find a copy of Manhattan Project Energy Empire. Probably my number one most needed game. And it's the last day and I'm running out of time. But before I do that, I've got another game to tell you about. Number 82 is Luna Capital. This is another tile laying game. You know how much I love them. It's another entwined drafting game. You know how much I love that. The whole idea of, there's multiple things. I have to make a compromise and get stuff I don't want. And this game does several things really wonderfully. One, I should say, I know it's not the prettiest game, but it does have kind of a nice retro 50s sci-fi kitsch vibe to it. So that's all very, very nice. But the interesting thing is the entwined drafting escalates in tension. You start out just getting, I'll get a tile and a card. And this is a multi-layer. You lay the cards out first and then you build the tiles on top. You claim the land on the moon and then build on the moon with your Luna Capital. But over the course of the game, the bundles get bigger and bigger every round. And so you run a much greater risk grabbing stuff that you won't be able to use and that you'll have a hard time dealing with. And then on top of that, the other thing about it is, oh man, I am at the end of my rope. What was the other thing about it? Oh, yes, the terrain cards, the landscape or the moonscape cards you have to play, they have to be played in ascending order. So you can't just put stuff wherever you want. So you're creating a vice that you will find yourself stuck in as the game goes on. And then you're grabbing more stuff that than you know what to do with, and you won't be able to fill it all in. And the vice just gets tighter and tighter in this very fast and efficient playing game. There's a lot of them like this out here. And I mean, this one came out at kind of peak DeVere a few years ago when they could do no wrong. And this was another one that put them on the top of the hill. It doesn't seem like it's remembered as well as some of their other stuff like Red Cathedral or White Castle. Maybe they should have put a color in the name, I don't know. But it's one of my all-time favorites, an amazing entwined drafting tile layer with so much tension. It's not the prettiest game out there, but it's one of the best. It's number 82, Luna Capital. All right, what's next? I'm running out of time. Okay, folks, I am exhausted. I am totally weighed down. I am trying to get this last entry done while also punching my way through the crowd to get to a meeting I have in 10 minutes with Asmodee. Wish me luck. I just went to a bad comment, by the way, hence my little friend here on my shoulder. Watch for them, folks. You're going to hear about them more than once on this list. A very, very strong up-and-coming, maybe the strongest up-and-coming publishing house out there. But anyway, I'll talk about them later. Right now, I'm talking about number 81 on the list, which is Cities. And this one, wow, really surprised me. I mean, I love SimCity style games and all that. And I love the team up here. Steve Finn and Phil Walker Harding. I want to see that combo a lot more. These two guys work very well together. And yeah, it's hard. This is a game about tile laying and then putting stuff on your tiles that represents famous cities from around the world. It's got a very, very tight draft, which honestly, I think is best at 2 players. Not everybody agrees with that, but the tension and the gambling, it's almost a push your luck game because, okay, I should grab that, but I don't think Jen wants it because basically in a 2-player game, you get to grab twice as many things. That's normally something I don't care about. 2 players having to do the work of 4, but it works so well here. The tile laying is solid. The presentation is very good, except for the fact that it's not colorblind friendly. Oh, it gets knocked down for that, unfortunately. But, I'm sorry, very sorry about that. I'm just slamming into everybody with this stuff, just limping my way to the finish line. Okay, what is it? Theme. Theme is such an important, integral element to Euros. And it always breaks my heart when publishers ignore that. I'm looking at you. Coimbra, I'm looking at you. Coming of Age. They did a little bit of extra here. First of all, the cities we're making are actually themed, or the objectives we have are themed on real world cities. So you're trying to build with the actual real culture and layout of those cities in mind. So that's one thing. But then the objective cards you get all have names on them. You know how these days, everybody's trying to get their own Calico, right? Their own, or Azul. Quick playing, almost abstract, colorful, easy to teach, fast to play. Every publisher has to have theirs. And and this, I could say this is maybe one of them. But most of these games are very abstract because they just say, oh, put 2 red things and a blue thing next to each other. Or get a set of all the colors. Or these random symbols that don't mean anything. They could have done that with cities. They could have just had different colors represented, and of course they do. But they went the extra mile and put the text on the cards. So the objective I'm trying to do is not just make 3 tall red buildings. It's try to make a high-rise, people are starting to frown at me. I think I'm too loud. Apologies to everybody. Sorry, oh yeah, everybody thinks I'm crazy. Instead of just make 3 red towers, it's make high-rise apartment blocks. And that one extra bit of attention to detail that so many games ignore in the pursuit of language independence really elevates the game. Makes my city that I'm building feel like it has character, like it has a story, like it has a unique identity. And that so elevates what is already a sweet, sharp little game that is as much fun as these sorts of games. For me, it's an Azul killer, or most of the other ones in this. And a large part of that is because of the attention and the devotion to the integration and presentation of theme. And that's what really elevates this into one of the 100 best games of all time. Number 81 on the list is Cities. And okay, folks, that's it. I'll be back again. I don't know where I'll be. We might be in Spain by next week. Maybe not. But again, you got to tell me down in the show notes. Do you want just the games? Or do you want this little slice of life? Would you like a tour of our caravan in between numbers, 80 to 71? I don't know, but let me know down in the comments. And otherwise, I'll see you next week. Remember, if you missed the first one of these, or you're wanting to see the third one, there's a playlist down below in the show notes, as well as links to videos of all these games. All right, I'm gonna put this camera away so I can split this. This is very heavy to carry all this in one hand. And I'll catch you on the road next time, folks. Thanks again to James for making me look good. I'll talk to you later. See you next week. So long. Oh, it's a claw. It's a claw. Oh, bye-bye.